Hey fellow foodies, it's Faye from facefood.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make my version of an awesome steak sub. So you can use flank steak, but I'm going to be using just a chuck steak. I like the amount of fat it has, and it's a cheap cut, but it's very flavorful, and it's what we always have on hand. So you want to start by cutting up the steak lengthwise, and you want to cut it against the grain. That's very important. And then you just begin to cut those strips into shorter, thin strips. You don't want it too thin. You don't want them into cubes. You don't want them too thick. So just kind of work with it and make it work to where it would fit properly in a sandwich. All right, so just keep cutting up those strips and place them into a bowl. And it's really key to have a nice sharp knife to make this part a lot easier for you. Alright, so you see we have our cut up steak all ready to go. And now what you want to do is we're going to marinate it. I always marinate my beef kind of the same way, whether it be barbecue, like the shish kebab beef, or it's a steak like this. So I just marinate it with some unsalted butter, some olive oil, some salt, and some freshly grounded or grinded black pepper. And the reason for that is I really think that beef should speak for itself. I don't like to mask the flavor of the beef. I don't like to over season or overdo it. Yeah, just keep it simple. And the reason why we actually salt it ahead of time is it will lead to a juicier steak, believe it or not. So that's why I like to season it before and after. Alright, so you can see how easy that is. That's our marinade. And now I'm going to put some gloves on just because it's cleaner. And I'm going to give this all a toss to mix this properly. So just be somewhat gentle with the meat and mix everything to combine. Alright, now you want to cover this with plastic wrap or aluminum foil, and you're going to put it in the fridge at least a couple hours. Definitely best if you let it marinate overnight. Alright, so once you're ready to actually cook the steak, you want to prep your veggies up. And here's the veggies I like to use. I have some roasted red peppers, I have some white onion, and white button mushroom, and of course we have our marinated steak. And I love cooking these on top of a flat top griddle. Cook them all together so all the flavors incorporate. So I have my steak on there that we marinated. I have some green peppers, the white onion, and the white button mushrooms, and I'm gonna give this all a toss. I'm cooking it kind of the wrong way just because the camera angle, so some of the veggies are flying off the grill, which I didn't notice at the time, but you want to be careful, obviously, not to make too much of a mess. But yeah, you just want to toss this all together, and the veggies will saute nicely, and the steak will cook up nicely as well. And while this is actually cooking up, what you want to do is prep your bread. So the bread right now is in my toaster, like the panini press that I have. I just cut it up and I put it flat side down, and I'm pressing it in the grill. So that's cooking up while my other stuff is cooking up as well. All right. So now when it's nearly ready to go and get off this grill, I'm going to pour that fat back on there. And some of you may cringe at that, but Fat is flavor, and that's why I did that. Now, if you're counting calories and you don't want the negative side effects of that, you can keep the fat off of there. But anyway, so I added the fat back in. I re-seasoned it with some more salt and pepper, and now I'm kind of lining it up. Because our sub is shaped a certain way, I need to shape this a certain way beforehand as well. All right, so now I'm putting the cheese on there. I'm using provolone. I absolutely love the flavor. It's kind of a mild, subtle flavor, even though it's smoked provolone. But it also melts beautifully. I love using provolone for subs. So you can see I covered it with like an aluminum sheet pan because obviously we want the cheese to melt nicely. So that is ready to go. I took my bread out of my grill, obviously my pressed grill, and I put a little bit of mayo on there, some shredded lettuce, some roasted red peppers, and some banana peppers. And that's all that's on there as of now. I'm going to use a plastic scraper. You can also use like a metal bench scraper to move this over from the grill to your sandwich. There's no really mess-free way to do this. It's just going to be a messy process, but you know, sometimes the best food is the messiest food, so you just got to kind of deal with it. But you can see the cheese is nice and melted and gooey and everything's going all over the place, but you want to try to stuff it into the sandwich as best as possible. Alright, so now I just use my offset spatula to kind of squish stuff down and make sure to put it in place so that when I close the sub, most of it is in there. You can see some stuff is falling out, but that's essentially our sub. Looks great, right? But obviously this is going to be very difficult to eat this way. So what I like to do is take this extra step of, usually I do it with like wax paper, sandwich paper, but we ran out. So I'm using aluminum foil. Now obviously with foil you want to be a little more careful because it can cling to the sandwich and you don't want to eat foil. So if you do use aluminum like I'm using here, just be careful. But whatever you're using, just roll up the sandwich nice and tight, and then you use your sharp knife to cut through it. And this will allow you to get two nice pieces that are a little more easy to manage. Okay. So you can see all that goodness in there. We have our steak, our peppers, our onions, the lettuce, which it's iceberg lettuce, which it's going to provide a nice crunch. The cheese, the gooiness, it's just so good. This is my ideal steak sub. I hope you guys give this a try because it is absolutely delicious. The full recipe will be on facefood.com. Comment below if you have any comments or questions. Like this video if you like it, and subscribe to this channel for more great videos on the way. Until next time, have a wonderful day.
I've been reading you to figure what you're down for. I wanna figure out to make it come around. No, we should quit the game and settle things right here, right now. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about all the things you do. I wanna take you from